I'm just going to say this shit straight up. If it's because you hired a booking agent that has a $5,000 a month budget, right? And he can hire a bunch of solo acts that'll play for $100 or $125 while you pocket the rest of the fucking money, go fuck yourself.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Riffs and
Rhythms podcast. Happy New Year!
Happy New Year. I'm Kevin McLaughlin, and this is
Paul Robertson there.
We are signing on for the last time in 2024.
We've got to get through this show really quick because we got a party to go to. Brad Brock's birthday.
Brad Brock's birthday is today.
I think we now set the new record for quickest Brad Brock reference in any show.
I know,
now,
you beat the record was like a minute. Now you...
That's it. All right, Brad, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next week.
Yeah, he only watches it until we mention his name, and then he's out. So 24 has been the year of more. And now success will arrive in 25.
There you go. I like that. That's our new moniker that we have for the show.
That is the slogan for the year. Success will arrive in 25.
Perfect. So, yeah, it's been I can't believe how quickly it seems like now it's flown by. Podcast 1 year anniversary. You know,
Riffs and Rhythms Festival.
Going to Memphis.
Yeah, going to Memphis.
So it's been
Thanksgiving, Christmas, your birthday.
Yep.
My birthday's coming up in a couple days.
Launching of the Rising Star.
The Rising Star concert series.
That's right. Yeah.
Day Out of Time Festival.
So
Riffs and Rhythms Festival.
Yeah. So yes,
it was the year of more.
That's right. Do you have any New Year's resolutions?
I do.
Okay. So what would they be?
My New Year's resolution is that I'm going to 10x my income in the year of 25.
All right. I like that. You're going to multiply by
10x
in 25.
Yep. And I'm not going to do it by doing 10 times as many gigs.
Okay. Well, I actually am wondering if you have one of your New Year's resolutions I think you're going to start doing in 2025. 2020, how many 20 was that? Is getting more involved in skateboarding. Are you getting more involved in skateboarding? So,
no, but I have a feeling I know what's coming next.
So,
thank you to my daughter.
All right, maybe we may have to add this in post.
Yeah, play that video.
Yeah, don't you have your headphones on?
Get it over with. Hurry up.
I was waiting for some kind of cue.
Here it is. Play the video.
Yeah, damn it. Yeah. All right.
That was exciting.
That was it.
Check this out, folks. It's Kevin Mick Hawk. And they broke his hip after that.
No, I had just gotten off the half pipe and carved a big
shredding and grinding.
Yep, I was definitely shredding and grinding.
He's showing all those little kids, pushing them out of the way on the skate park.
That's right.
So anyway,
no mercy.
So looking forward to more Kevin skating videos in 2025.
That'll be the only one you see, I promise.
You weren't supposed to do that.
That's what I'm saying.
That's
so
awesome.
you know, enough of that. Get out of here with your video stuff. The star of stage and screen himself, Mr. Tim O'Donnell.
Thank you, Kevin.
How are you, man?
I'm doing awesome, dude.
We never get a chance to sit down and really have a good conversation.
It's very rare.
It's been percolating for a long time because we keep bumping into each other around town
all the time, and then we got to go. We got to do something else.
Yeah, we always have something else to do.
Always got to do something else, like go skateboard.
Yeah, apparently.
You know, when I was, let's see, I think it was my 40th birthday. There's a kid named Eli Ruskow, and he was a very good skateboarder. I think he's on the road with Old Crow Medicine Show now as guitar tech. And super good kid, super great guitar player. He was a really good skateboarder, and I went to the skate park for my 40th birthday and decided I was going to skate the bowl. And I thought I was doing pretty good, and he walked up to me and he said, "Hey, Tim, you might want to not skateboard no more." That's what he told me. I got so pissed. I was like, "Fuck you, boy." I was like, then I realized he was right. So,
Yeah.
So
Well, when you see yourself on film looking insanely awkward.
yeah, that's kind of. I felt like I was doing good, but there's a difference between feeling and doing. So
Yeah, that's what she said.
So the only reason why they probably kept you around was so you can go, do a beer run for these underage kids, right?
Maybe, I don't know. I mean, back in the day, I used to get around on a skateboard pretty decently, but Eli was pretty gifted at it. He was good at skateboarding. So
Cool.
I remember when they used to have skateboard parks.
yeah, they had that. It was that one in Jensen Beach, that one by old Rick's Draft House, or I don't know what it is now, where the bowling alley is in Jensen Beach.
Okay.
You know what I'm talking about? There's a skate park right over there.
It's still there,
Yeah,
I
it's
think.
still there.
Yeah, it's still there. And they used to have, when IWS was in Jensen Beach,
Remember that half
they had
pipe in
like
the
a
back of that
15-foot
pipe?
half pipe right in the front parking lot.
That place was amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that place was amazing. My
That was
buddy-
back when every neighborhood had its own half pipe.
Yeah, that was back when skateboarding was like the old Bones Brigade days.
Yeah.
So, and Killer Hill right over there in Jensen Beach, next to the church.
On Skyway Drive, Skyline Drive.
Yeah, the big hill there. I saw so many people like lose skin on that road right there and just
Oh
about
yeah,
die.
yeah, that's a good spot.
I used to live right on Sandra, and we used to get like a case of beer, and we'd climb up on the church because the church there,
The church wall right there.
it goes right down the thing. We'd climb up, and you could climb up on the roof, and we'd sit up on the roof and drink beer, and you could see the water, you see the power plant. It was nice up there.
My
Nice and
cousin
cool.
lives right across the street there. She's got a surveyor mark in her yard. It says highest point in South Florida.
Yeah, it's a high spot.
What?
So,
Yeah, the peak at Skyline Drive is
Really?
at the time that they put that. It probably hasn't changed much since then, but.
Interesting.
And just in case you're wondering why we're sweating at the end of December, because we're in Florida and the air conditioner's broken.
So we need you guys to subscribe to our Patreon page in here so we can afford a new air conditioner.
We need to have an air conditioning sponsorship.
Yes, because we will always have money for alcohol.
Right. Priorities.
Yeah.
I'd rather sweat and drink than
That's
be
right.
cold.
Yeah,
and
that's right.
not.
Yes, for sure. So yeah. So So I guess I'll ask the question. Good, Tim. Is how?
Frozen solid. Look at that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's totally rocks. It's a frozen solid.
Just shoot your eye out, kid. Oh, look at this. This is perfect. This is
this is
better than
something
Marge. This is better.
Yeah.
Better
It's
than
air
margin.
conditioning.
hit the one in the middle rock.
Oh,
Yes.
thank you, Tracy. This is awesome.
Yeah.
Tracy Bruce.
So we might know already
Concierge to the stars.
who this week's MVP is on the show.
Right.
So great to meet you, Tim. As I know I'm not out there performing, so I'm not, and I live down this way, so I know a lot of, like last week we had Patrick on, and known Patrick's name, who I've seen him play, but never actually had a chance to meet him. So similar, like Nouveaux Honkies.
Yeah.
Right, I've known the man, and so forth, and getting a chance to actually, and that's why, like we talked about a little bit there, was a Tuesday night. Most musicians don't have a gig on a Tuesday. It's a quiet night, and this is why it's a perfect night to do the show that we tape, because it's an off night. You get to hang out a little bit,
Yeah.
slow down a little bit, talk with other musicians, talk some shit, and just have a good time, man.
Hell yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so how long have you lived in the area then?
I grew up in Port Salerno from age 4. So that would be 1978.
Okay,
And grew up there. Went to Port Salerno Elementary, Murray Middle School, South Fork High School. Moved away right after high school for a little bit, and then came back and started playing guitar. I started playing drums pretty early, like in church, and then I started playing guitar when I was about 17.
okay,
And then I was in Hawaii for a little while, and there was my buddy's dad that was there was into a lot of mountain and focus.
Oh, the band Mountain and the band Focus?
Yeah, like all that stuff. And he had tons of records, and I got into that and started playing, got into playing guitar pretty heavy when I was there. Also surfing and then playing guitar. And then naturally Stevie Ray Vaughan and Jimi Hendrix and all the stuff you get into when you're starting to play guitar. But I still played drums all the way till I was probably 25. I mean, I didn't play guitar in a band till till I probably was 25 years old first time I played guitar in a band.
Oh, wow.
So, and that was pretty much it. And it was kind of cool. I got to play drums for a lot of different people and listen to some great guitar players, and it was always great listening to these guitar players and going, man, what was that he did there? so it was kind of like being a drummer and soaking all that great guitarness up.
Just being around.
Just being around great guitar players. So that's kind of how I started playing, and then I quit playing music for a while and then started back up.
Okay.
So
this is probably where Kevin would say, so you saw the light and you stopped playing drums to be a guitar player. That's what I would think he would say. Right?
Probably, yeah. I mean,
he's a convert.
It's a convert. So I guess. I mean, I don't know. I still play drums from time to time. So yeah. So I can't play for that long. It's just like your hands start to hurt, arms start to hurt. It's just it's a physical instrument. So.
Yeah, it is. Full body experience for sure.
Full body experience.
So you both of you guys have seen a lot of change then in the Treasure Coast area, not just the music scene, but just in general as well, right?
Oh yeah. It's it ebbs and flows, I think too. Do you notice that, Kevin?
I just noticed that it is just about built out.
Yeah.
Like St. Lucie County has gotten all the way to the far corner now.
Yeah. I mean, musically though, do you think it ebbs and flows?
Definitely ebbs and flows. It gets better, gets worse, gets better, gets worse.
And it's been weird. So the Honkies are primarily a duo right now, and we started out as a full band. And I'm very anxious to see full band music come back to a place it was when I was a lot younger. I think it would be great. I mean, because there was. Yeah, I remember times when it would ebb and flow, where there'd be a select group of bands that were in a weird way in competition with each other, but not really because we all knew each other. But everybody brought everybody up to a level, and you couldn't go out at night and find a shitty band. And then there's other times when like you kind of go out and all you see is shitty bands, and you're like, this kind of like I don't like tonight. You know,
I've been to a place.
You know
where
what I mean?
How did they get paid to do that?
Yeah. So, but I think a lot of it for bands is because there's been, I don't know, there just needs to be excitement about it. There has to be like an excitement about it where people are like, this is a great little music town. There's a lot of music happening and a lot of different styles of music happening. Let's get in there and let's do this.
Yeah.
You know? And I think it's going to be on the up and up coming up. I just got a weird feeling. I think it's going to kind of turn into something that's pretty good, and a lot of the people that probably should kind of stay in their bedroom might stay in their bedroom a little more, and a lot of the people that are really bringing it are going to be able to shine and do some stuff, because there's some super, super, super good bands around right now.
There's a lot of great bands on the Treasure Coast right now, and I had a great conversation with the executive director of the Martin County Fair, and they're building their new fairgrounds out west of town.
Where's it going to be?
Out southwest on Citrus.
Okay.
Like pretty close in, though, pretty much in Palm City somewhere.
sweet.
I don't know where. And they're going to have an amphitheater there that's going to be open for concerts all the time.
That's cool.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so that's cool.
Yeah.
And he's a musician himself. He's a gigging musician. So
Sweet.
to have someone that runs an event that is, you know, kind of the hub for musical culture of every kind, be a musician himself, that is a very refreshing prospect.
It is very refreshing.
So somebody who can relate and you
exactly.
know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Someone who knows the drill and can be realistic with their expectations and what they want to get and how they can get it.
Well, it's also, dude, when it goes sideways, when it goes bad, it can be a snowball heading to hell so quick, because you'll go to places and there'll be somebody playing that, and this is a pet peeve of mine, and I'll repeat myself a million times, but there'll be somebody there that they don't look at it like it's your they don't look at the venue like it's your employer. They don't take the job serious. They don't look good on stage. They got shitty sound. They're unprepared, all the things that come with it. And then what happens is the venue goes, man, more people left when this person was playing than he kept people there and had people partying and feeling good. And that snowball oh my gosh, it's the worst thing for us that can happen. And when I start seeing that happen, I just want to go like, I just want to take a bat to somebody's knee. I'm just like, get out of here. You don't need to be here, you know? And but then again, when you see bands doing really good jobs, I'm just like, yeah, just keep doing that, because it brings the level of everybody else up. If there's a band that's doing a really good job, or a solo artist or a duo or whatever, if they're doing a fabulous job and I'm watching them do that, I'm like, man, I gotta bring a better game to this thing, and it elevates everything. And that's what we need to do. That's what everybody needs to do.
I have recently started looking at it this way, in which, you know, you go to a concert and what is it? Anywhere between $30 and $300.
30? Where do you go to a concert for 30?
Well, I don't know. Like lawn seats with the you know, you use a telescope. I don't know how much are lawn seats anymore. $50? I don't know.
You should Google like how much lawn seats are for like a real concert.
Tim, he's talking about being on the other side of the fence at the top of the hill.
I can see that. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. So anyway, there's zeros after it when you got to go and see a band for real, like a touring band at a venue.
Yeah.
But here on the Treasure Coast, and it's probably the true everywhere, you can literally just walk in for free.
Yeah.
Sit down, see an amazing band, put on a concert, and it's right there in your own backyard.
It's right there.
I mean, why more people don't take advantage of that is a mystery to me.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, a lot of people do. But then there's like I said, it's a snowball heading to hell. When there's people that do a terrible job at it, it just leaves a bad taste in people's mouth. And it's I'm not calling for like, oh, we need a union or nothing like that. But I'm just like, it's just, there's a lot of it has to do with who books these venues and who they book. And I'm not trying to be dark on that shit, but I'm just telling you, like, you know, when you get what you pay for. And there should also be, I know just being with a management agency or different things that we did in the past, that you don't get away with a lot when somebody has clout that's putting you out there. They're gonna be like, dude, you sucked that night. They'll call you out on it, you know. And it's very easy to be complacent and play. For Rebecca and I, we play 5 nights a week, 6 nights a week. It's very easy to get complacent playing the same places and doing the things. I've fallen into the trap myself, but I always got to tell myself, you got to bring it. If there was one thing about Scott Benge that I always admired, was he showed up on a venue and he always sounded great. He always brought some kind of backdrop. He always elevated everything he did. And I just looked up to that guy, like, man, that like there's a dude that's bringing it. Like he's not cutting corners. He's not showing up with like, oh, like I'm playing a giant stage and I don't feel like bringing a PA because nobody's listening anyway. So I'm just going to play through a Fishman loud box. And just nobody can hear me anyway. Who cares? No, he's bringing it. You know, and that's what needs to happen, dude.
And he loved it. I mean, every moment on stage, he was in his happy place.
Yeah, and that like, so that's what needs to happen. But
more people like with that kind of work ethic on stage.
Yeah,
no doubt.
It's your job, dude. Do it with pride and like take some, like be serious about it. You know.
So I'm gonna throw a real, could be a little bit of dynamite here. So. I know talking with other, folks have been on the podcast, friends and things, there's always this talk about what the going rate is, right, for a gig. And you mentioned the show, and I don't know how far back was, like $250 for a duo, and that seems to be...
That's very low.
Okay, yeah. So then there's others that have said, hey, I've been in the scene here for a while, and new people coming in, and we're still the same. Now, to your point, it could be, what level are you, or is everybody getting the same rate across the board? If you're doing solo, are you getting the same rate? And I guess maybe it depends on the location. So where I'm going with this is, and this could be really a scandalous kind of thing. It's like, hate to say it, but and again, if I'm trying to get back into playing, I know I'd fall on this because I'm nowhere near that you guys have experienced this. Is there some sort of rating? I hate to put, again, it's a pressure kind of thing. In what we've talked about here, Tim, is like how does everybody elevate? How does the musicians work with the venues, right? It's like everyone seems to be fighting. I think the musicians. That's why I love the Treasure Coast scene, and I'm like, it's very envious of that. I don't live up there now, being exposed to a lot of great musicians down in Fort Pierce, a lot of places that go see music. But it's like musicians to the venues, or maybe the booking agents and so forth. Look, we're all in this together. We all want to make a little bit of something. Let's be fair in what the rate is. Mm-hmm. Okay, maybe you don't bring the people in. Maybe you are a good, but if you are a good performer, people will come find you when they hear about you too, to that point. So if you've been playing for X number of years as a soloist, and I just show up on the scene with my guitar, I'm going to make
on this.
You know what I'm saying?
I can speak on what you're saying, and typically a large percentage of the shows that I do come from a booking agent, and the booking agent will call and say, "The gig pays this. Are you willing to take that?" And the answer is going to be yes, no, or I charge more than that now. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to say any names, but and then the second half of that sentence is, I'll do that for this many more times, and then we have to bring it up, or I get paid on other gigs. You give me way more than I'm worth. Everything is a little bit of a trade. But the thing you have to remember is there's a number of things that affect the price. What kind of establishment are you playing at? If it's just a beer and wine, and if you're going to charge them $1,000, they got to sell a whole lot of beer to pay an extra $1,000. So sometimes a fair price is unrealistic in the situation, and sometimes the exact opposite is true, where you can go to a certain kind of place and you can charge extra because the kind of place can absorb that kind of money. So there are three things that really it comes down to. First off, you want to charge as much as the market will bear, right? And I learned this from a friend, and you probably do this, is that if somebody approaches you with a gig and you don't want to do it, you quote them a very high price. Because what that does is it makes it worth doing. Mm-hmm. And the next band that gets called is going to look great. They can charge a lot and still look like a discount.
Yeah.
And you never said no to the gig either.
And you didn't say no, yes. Right, yeah. And so that helps out the market. So the three things, what are you willing to take? Be responsible to your community and don't undercut everyone, because you'll lose all your friends, because we all find out who did it.
Yeah. Bats.
Yeah. And bats. I get it, yeah.
Right to the knee. So.
And be responsible to yourself, and don't suck when you get there.
Don't suck when you get there. Look professional. Don't look like Uncle Bob just walked out of his garage in his fucking cargo shorts and his sweaty ass shirt.
Right, yeah. Men wear long pants on stage, please.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to see man leg, not no one, not no how.
Yeah. And just be professional. Song to song, sound good. Don't play loud. Just people that play loud just because they suck, that sucks, because nobody wants to hear that shit. So but also sound good. It is better, but I mean, it's such a weird thing to me. Rebecca and I used to have the I guess I call it the blessing of pre-COVID. We had the blessing of being here 4 months out of the year, 5 months out of the year. That was it. That's pretty much since 2010, and since I've been here steady since 2020, there's times when my blood just boils when I see what's going on. Because somebody's just so unprofessional, or so unprepared, and I understand you love to play music, and I get it. I was there too, but at some point, just like people did to me, somebody needs to call your ass out and say, stop playing around, because when it comes to the amount of money we can make, it all depends on how much money those wonderful places that hire live music, that's still going on, is just an enigma to me. That's amazing that people still hire live music. But those places, I respect the hell out of you, but when I understand that you're not making money and you can't pay us, we got to figure out why you're not making money. Okay?
Yep.
And it's typically not our fault.
Yeah, and if it's because I'm just going to say this shit straight up. If it's because you hired a booking agent that has a $5,000 a month budget, right? And he can hire a bunch of solo acts that'll play for $100 or $125 while you pocket the rest of the fucking money. Go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
Like that will
empty out a restaurant.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to say to the people that are booking bands. We all have to work together. Everybody has to work together on that shit.
Because that's great at first, but then you get fired after a while.
Yeah, now there's another venue that doesn't want music. And now there's less venues and there's more people competing for the venues. And when there's more competition for the venues, it drives the prices down. So all of a sudden, we're all back working at Eckerd's and all the other shit we used to have to do when, I mean, not Eckerd's ain't around no more, but that's just an old reference back when I was 25, when I'd get off the road and I wouldn't have any money and I'd have to go work somewhere and try to make money.
But it's a good reference.
It's a good reference.
Eckerd's got put out of business because of driving down low prices in Walgreens.
Low prices Walgreens.
That's right. Bring Eckerd's back, damn it.
Yeah.
And Bell's.
So, but again, and
yeah.
I'm not trying to be negative on that. And there's everybody starts off, everybody gets their position, and fortunately for me, like there was people that would hire me when I was a kid, and I probably made way less money than the dude that was my age back then. But I've also got chewed out pretty good by a lot of dudes that were my age back when I was in my 20s because I sucked. And maybe that's just what needs to happen. People need to start realizing that if you suck, you need to bring it.
More people need to tell each other the truth.
Yeah.
Tim, this is great hearing you say that. And again, it's not that you're trying to bash or put down others. It's just you're just trying to be. You guys are trying to be truthful. Sometimes the truth will hurt.
Yeah.
And I think that's a great point. How do you get started? Right.
Yeah.
It's like most of the time you can spend forever in your garage practice. Eventually, you're gonna have to get out there. Try to get out there and get crack your foot in the door. And maybe it isn't the nighttime gigs.
You get in the door like your dad is a member of the American Legion, so you talk him into letting you play on a Tuesday,
right?
And you just kind of bring it more like that.
Yeah,
and I'm more, and it's funny. I mean, so I just turned 50 last year.
Congratulations!
And it's so weird for me to see people that are in their late 20s, early 30s asking like me advice, or asking me how I get this tone, or asking me how I mix this particular thing for a dobro and a violin, or whatever those questions are. And I am so happy to like let anybody know the limited knowledge that I have and try to just make it better, because we all have to make it better. We all have to make it better. And if not, we're all like, there's going to be less music venues. There's going to be less live music, and we're going to reap what we sow.
Yes, as a matter of fact, we were having this conversation the other day. The tendency to not share information is what led us into the dark ages.
Exactly. Yeah.
So if we're not going, if and we just talked about this a couple of weeks ago, if I'm going to amass knowledge and then let it all die with me, like what have I done to help humanity? Like nothing.
I've had so many people help me. I've had so many people completely shit on me about something I was doing in the past, whatever it might be. But you have to take all that criticism and realize that somebody's just trying to make it better. I mean, we're just trying to make it better. We're trying to make it to where there's a thriving music scene, and that a musician can afford to live here and play music and not have to supplement his job and focus on playing music. And again, if you're supplementing your job and you're working 40 hours a week, that's 40 hours a week that you're not playing your instrument. So all of a sudden, I'm sorry, but that's going to suffer.
Right.
So that's going to suffer. So it's just like this perpetual thing of just trying to like, all I want to do is see it just flourish. I just want to see it get so strong that it's just, like when Rebecca and I used to travel, we used to go to places and I'd see a music scene and I'd be like, man, this is a healthy music scene. This is a healthy music scene right here. Everybody's just top of the food chain. Wherever you go, everybody's top of the food chain. And it's like, that's what I want to see. I want to see across the board, not just like because they're artists and they play, but they know how to entertain. They know how to dress. They know how to look. They know how to talk to a crowd. They know how to like get people engaged. It's awesome. That's what I want to see.
Yeah.
So you're a community. So it's safe to say, and it sounds very obvious for me to say it, Captain Obvious, is you are community first?
Oh, for sure. Man.
Okay.
Especially that I've been here full time for
Right.
4 years now.
So you both, and you mentioned it too, Kevin, is about, sharing that knowledge and not letting it die with you. I'm just wondering, and it's a crazy idea, and it's not part of an open jam kind of thing. It's like those, and it can come off very ego too if somebody perceives it wrong. But I think if people genuinely feel, like you said, I didn't know Scott as well as you guys did, right? I've seen him a couple times and, met him through Brad's show and et cetera, right? So obviously people still talk how much of a hole that left the community in many ways. But I'm wondering, how does this knowledge pass down? How does, musicians who put their egos aside and say, yeah, I want to come to again, I hate to call it a TED Talk seminar. Nothing, no cost, but it's like, hey, this week Kevin's gonna, be the presenter of, hey, you want to learn about? Maybe I show up and don't know shit, but I want to get into the scene. How do I?
It's easy. It's easy.
Know?
Don't be a jerk.
No,
right?
yeah.
Just show up and be nice. Introduce yourself. Compliment the band, and go, "Wow, that sounded awesome. How did you get that?"
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
And unless the person's a complete jerk, or they got to run off to another gig, they'll take the time and at least I know I will.
Yeah, but I mean, I think there's what you guys are saying. I'm picking up like there's an educational aspect that you guys are willing to share.
Yeah, for sure.
But how to go about it? Maybe you know.
For a while, I was advertising for an apprentice.
Yeah.
Because honestly, if I could get a kid who wants to learn how to know what I do, I will teach him everything I know in exchange for him carrying my stuff in and out.
Yeah.
And I couldn't get anybody to do it.
Yeah. Well, that's going to be a tough one. I mean, the first thing you got to put aside is your ego. And I think somebody told me a long time ago, this happened when I used to play drums. And I was a pretty choppy drummer back then. I could play drums. And I had somebody tell me, we're going to record this show live and you're going to go listen back to this show and you're going to act like you're listening. You have no idea who the drummer is. And I was like, and I started listening like I had no idea who the drummer was. And I was like, man, that's a fucking busy ass drummer. It was me, So just being constructive in that way. And most of the people that had an effect in my life were basically people that kicked me off the stage and told me to go away. Like, just, you don't belong up here, go away. And that was always something, I guess it's my personality. If somebody challenges me, I like to come back. But there's a lot of people, Rebecca, for instance, if I say something mean to her about something like something she plays, or it just doesn't work that way. So there has to be a way to be constructive too. But just look at, if you go watch a band, or this is me, if I go watch a band and I'm watching a band from a constructive perspective of what I think of this band and what, how it could make me a better player. Most of the time, I'll find certain things that people do that I'm like, I gravitate to, and I'm like, man, that's really awesome. That's really awesome. But the other thing you can learn from is the things that you don't like. So if I hear a band and they stop a song and somebody starts noodling in between songs, like that's something that's a pet peeve to me, because I watched a band one time and there's a guy and I'm like, just don't make no sound between songs, either tune or shut the hell up. Make it professional. You're never going to go to a professional concert and see the piano player over there noodling when a guy's trying to set up a song. Simple things that we see when we go watch somebody that we paid tickets for to go watch a band. Look at how they do it. We've played multiple shows on the road with Asleep at the Wheel. And when you watch how they run that ship, man, it's just like, there's no playing around. And when you get to the point where for us, where we got to start opening shows for professional musicians, Charlie Daniels, John Anderson, Billy Currington, all these people we open shows for, I get to sit out in the audience or sit side stage and watch how they run that thing. And I'm like, man, I was a total jackass on some of the stuff I was saying to the audience or not saying to the audience, or the little things I was doing in between things, because there's definitely a formula of why it works. And there's no reason, if you're just playing in a bar, wherever the bar is, there's no reason not to approach the gig like that. There's no reason not to approach a gig like
Exactly.
that. It's just live up to a level and never go below it. You know. So if there's a young person, like I don't try to tell people too much. Like I never really try to give people too much advice, but every once in a while there's a young kid at the Ramble or something. I'll be like, hey, bud, and like maybe next time that happens, you can do this and do that. And then everybody, and I'm not trying to do it from a position of being like, oh, you suck. I'm just trying to this is how it works. This is what will make it better. This is what will make a night successful. And this is what will make a night suck. And when I see people that have no clue about why they suck, because they're just not intuitive. You have to be self-reflective. You have to be self-reflective on your own ego, how good you think you are, all the things that come with it, whatever it is. And you just need to break that thing down. And you realize that man, we're just trying to make this better. We're just trying to give people a great time. We're trying to make this venue a shit ton of money. And when the venue makes a shit ton of money, we can start asking for more money.
Right.
And that's how this shit works, dude.
Or you said earlier was you've got to, they make a shit ton of money because people were there, which means they're most likely throwing more money into your tip bucket.
Yeah.
Which is, okay, tip versus what you're getting paid, two different things, I know. But it's a lot that we've been talking, Tim, about is connecting the dots between all these things, with now the podcast network that we branded as, would you like to say it?
The B3 Podcast Network.
Right. So
B3.
bands, brands, and booze. Yeah. So again, right, they all live in that same ecosystem, right? COVID was a great example, right? COVID shut down bars, restaurants, places to play. Everyone went online and they're trying to do something, right?
Theaters,
right?
Everything.
Right. So now, if you're a full-time musician, your livelihood's gone out. You got to figure out what to do, OnlyFans, Feet Finder, whatever. And
Hot Tar Roofing was what I did.
There you go. All right. So is that the website?
No. It's
okay.
Just,
yeah. It could be. But then now those are closed. So, but alcohol sales were still okay, but only if you go to the package store. So anyway, my point is, there's all these things that kind of coincide. So the bad joke, and I know you probably wouldn't like this joke, but it's somewhat truth. Unfortunately, is. You can be the most shittiest band in the world, but if you got about a lot of alcoholic friends and fans,
oh yeah,
it sucks.
If you're playing in restaurants and bars, the only measure of your value as an entertainer is the Z out at the end of the night. Yep. The ring. How much did you bring in? How much did the club bring in while you were there?
Yeah,
that's the only measure. And another thing that I see so many, and I'm guilty of it myself. It's been a journey to get past this. Is bands take them really seriously. Your musical wallpaper, dude, it's not a concert. Get up there and know what your job is and just do it.
Especially in a restaurant and bar. Especially a venue that's going to have live music. The name of the game is make them money.
Right.
And if you make them money, you'll make more money.
You got to understand where you're at.
Right. What did Jason call it? Restaurants that play music? He called it something. It was a catchy word he used, like server. We'll have to go back. We'll have to go back and watch
Jason
that
Montero.
Yeah, Jason Montero. He had a great. He was referring to places that serve food, but you're
yeah.
I mean, there's times I go here to Square Grouper, and during the afternoon on the weekends. Mm-hmm. All right, there's just people there just drinking. There's music. It's and I can see why some kind of I get my $250 for 3 hours.
Yeah.
Play some music, background music. It's live music.
Yeah.
And I'm just here to collect my money, and just because nobody's fucking paying attention.
Oh, I see Jason every.
No, I don't mean Jason. I don't mean Jason.
No, it's not. No, I see Jason.
Yeah,
Jason performs.
I see Jason every Sunday at Manja, and every Sunday he brings it every night. He goes up perform. He gets people on stage. He gets people drinking.
Yep.
And so if somebody's a performer, for instance, if there's somebody that's a great performer and they can engage the audience, that's something that should be admirable, even if they suck. If they suck playing guitar, if they can engage people and they're making that venue money, what I would hope that person would do was man, I'm a really good performer, but I suck playing guitar. I'm going to try to get better at playing guitar.
Yeah,
I'm
a country singer.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it's the same thing. If you're the best freaking guitar player in the world and you're in your little bubble where you can do all this stuff and you can't look at the audience, maybe you need to learn something from the guy that knows how to perform. Because everybody can learn from each other. That's my point.
Yeah.
Like
That's a good point.
It's not just like a one-way road. So if you're like this badass guitar player, but you can't look at the audience, and between songs you're like all freaking out, like maybe you need to learn from that guy that's the overbearing performer that everybody's kind of like, oh, that guy's kind of cheesy. Well, he gets the crowd into it. You know, there's something to learn from that. There's something to learn from all of it. There's something to learn from all of it.
And I think what you guys said this is you walk up and you say, hey, I love what you did, or I love your sound, or whatever. You give that compliment. That's only going to open the door for whatever 20 questions you now want to.
For sure.
I get that you might be trying to break down the stage and try to get the fuck off, and you know all that. But it's one of those things is maybe wait. But yeah, if you're being complimented because you truly mean it and say, hey, how do you do X, Y, Z? But so Tim, this is great conversation. This is exactly like we said what the show is always about, is talking and digging into some good depth conversation with the musicians. Before we get too long here, so we've got a segment here called the Tales from the Road.
Yeah.
And do you got any crazy Spinal Tap kind of story, you know, something with a donkey show on a tour you did, or I don't know, whatever you may have done?
We almost got carjacked in Indy. We had a guy threaten. This was also in Indy. Indianapolis is a great place. We had a guy. You know, when people say, when people go, "Oh, Florida man," like I'm just like, dude, Indiana takes the cake on.
Indiana man's got it.
Indiana man has got the cake on.
Those
Florida.
Hoosiers.
Well, you know where the Florida man thing came from, right?
Yeah.
The headlines in the news all the time.
Headlines in the news, but like when real crazy shit goes on, I'm like, Indiana. I was like, that's Indiana right there. Every time we've been in Indiana, there's been some weird shit happen. We had a guy, he was threatening there was a girl that Rebecca was getting some boots resold, and this girl pulled in the parking lot, and this guy was losing his mind. He was like honking he was in a blacked out Dodge Ram. And I thought it was a domestic dispute, and I don't get involved in domestics. And I was like, I'm not going to do it. And then the girl was super young, and she rolled down her window, and she's like, can you help me? I was like, what's going on? She goes, this guy's been chasing me for like 5 miles. So I just got out of the van. I was like, dude, you need it? Like, are you all right? And he just rolls his window half the way down. He's screaming out the thing, and he's telling me he's going to shoot me. And I was like, well, that sucks. That's not a nice thing to say to somebody. So then Rebecca comes out of then her little brother was like under the back seat in the back of the car. She had like this little like 11-year-old brother, and she had just started driving. So Rebecca comes out of the van. I was like, this dude's losing his mind. He's got his window cracked, all black, like tinted windows all the way through. I can't even see him. And he's telling me he's going to shoot me. This isn't really a road story. This is just a bad road rage story. But anyway, long story short, the cops came and it was this crazy thing, and I felt like I had to protect this girl, and they threw the guy on the ground and beat him up. A cool road story to me would be we were playing in South Carolina, and probably a year before that, we were traveling through Nashville, Tennessee, and we stopped at Kev Mo's house he likes to make breakfast. So if we were ever playing in Nashville, he knew we were there, he'd be like, come over and you can have breakfast. So we made breakfast, and we go down, and he's got like a little studio spot, and he starts playing some songs that he's got recorded down there, and it's him and Taj Mahal on a record.
Oh, no kidding.
And Rebecca's like, that's Taj Mahal. And he's like, yeah, it is. And I was like, no way, this is cool. This is before the Taj Mo record that came out.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I was like, are you guys going to go on the road? He's like, who the hell is going to pay me and Taj to go out on the road? But it was like a year later, they were on the road, and we did a show in Charleston, and they were playing in Charleston after we got done. And Kev Mo's like the nicest dude in the world, and I just decided to go to the show, because he'll always comp tickets. And we bought tickets to go to the show, and they weren't $30, by the way, Kevin.
Oh, okay.
They weren't $30.
Thanks for filling me in on that.
So anyway, we go to the show, and as we're walking in the show, I texted Kevin. I said, hey, dude, we're like at the show. It'd be good to see you after the show. And then he texts me back. He's like, oh, go to the will call booth. I'll put you on the list, and you get it? I was like, I already bought tickets, dude. Don't worry about it. So he goes, still go to the will call booth so you can get your badges and shit. And so we already had gone to we were already seated and we're watching the show, killer show, boom, boom, boom. And then they get off stage, show's over, and Kevin texts and he's like, hey, did you get your badges? I was like, no, I'm going over there right now. He goes, well, hurry up. So I go over there, and when I get there, I say my name, and they have my name's not on there. So I'm like, shit, I'm not going to get to see him. But there was a book of all the people, like they have like they're flipping through the book to look for my name, and right on the other side of the page is Bill Murray. The name Bill Murray's on there. And I'm like, so back in the day, and it wasn't checked off. That was the other thing. They'll always put a line through it, who gets checked off. So back in the day when I used to this is like pre 9/11, if you wanted to go backstage, you could go say a name at a will call booth and be like, oh, my name's Bob Sullivan. And they'd be like, they'd look up Sullivan. Oh, we don't have that guy there. And I was like, oh, I'm sorry. It's Bob Sullivan, the next name down from it. And then they gave you his badge and you're in, dude. You're like, that's how I used to that's how I used to meet everybody. So, can't do that shit no more. But anyway, I see Bill Murray on the page and I'm like, dude, Bill Murray. I was like, that can't be Bill Murray. So I call Kevin back up. I was like, Kevin, we weren't on the list. He's like, let me get my tour manager. I turn around and sure enough, Bill Murray is walking by, like just walking down the hallway with like somebody's with him. And I was like, Rebecca, there's Bill Murray. It was Bill Murray. So we followed him and he goes through this door and we like pop through the door and we get down there. And then we get down to the bottom of the thing where everybody's waiting and there's like a little balcony up there. And he goes through and I try to eat. There's a bunch of people waiting there all with their badges. And I tried to like sneak in behind him. Security stops me. He's like, who are you? Blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, I was with that guy, And they're, oh, no, you're not. And so Rebecca and I get kicked back out. So we're standing out there. And then Bill Murray and Kev Mo come out on the little balcony, and Bill Murray recognizes Rebecca naturally because everybody recognizes Rebecca. And he's like, hey, Rebecca. And Rebecca's like, hey. And he's standing out there with Bill Murray, and he yells at security. He's like, let them back here. So it was a really cool night because we got to go back there and hang out with Kev. Taj Mahal, who Rebecca met when she was super young.
Wow.
And Bill Murray. It was just a cool night to be hanging out with folks. And that was a fun time. And the coolest thing was, I remember Rebecca hadn't seen Taj Mahal in like 15 years, but she walked up to him, and he was sitting down, and she walks up, and he looks at Rebecca, and he looked at Rebecca, and he goes, hey, I've seen you on the YouTube. That's what he said to Rebecca. It was awesome. So she gave him a big hug, and they just ended up hanging out. But yeah, the road is great. Sometimes it's terrible, and sometimes it's great. It's the best. I think the road is the best and worst day you can have in one day. That's the way I'd put it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you could have the best show ever, and then you walk off stage, and then something happens that doesn't reflect your previous experience at all.
Yeah. It's just that, or you're having a great day, and then the person you open for is a complete asshole, and then that's another thing that happens from time to time, And maybe they're having a bad day. Who knows?
So I'm sure then Tim is very similar. We've talked about this before. Since like podcasting, right? I don't get a chance to listen to others because I'm busy doing my own thing, and it's very similar. You guys it's not that you don't get a chance because you're also gigging as well or performing, right? So you don't get a chance to go see maybe this guy or that girl and whatnot, or on your off night, you're like, man, I want to wind down, but. If somebody shows up to your show, another fellow musician, it kind of is like one of those like, hey,
so
you're right,
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm like, did you bring your shit? Like, come on.
Yeah, I do it all the time.
So now that's pretty cool there. So Bill Murray.
Bill Murray. Yeah. That's a good time.
So
looked just like Groundhog Day. It was the same outfit from Groundhog Day.
And you said this is pre 9/11.
That was probably in 2017.
Okay.
16, 17. Yeah, we were playing in South Carolina I can't remember where we played. I can't remember where they played either, but they were playing a big venue there, and we were playing a small
He doesn't change much. I mean, he's always looked like that.
Looked identical, dude. Looked identical.
Yeah.
So we've got another segment here, MVP of the week here. Zach, who's somebody you want to recognize? Who's shout out another musician maybe, or someone who's helped you along the way, music teacher, or somebody you want to recognize.
That's a tough one. I think my shout out would be to, in all honesty, probably Nico Swarley.
No kidding.
And it's the reason I would probably say that at this point. I met Nico. It hasn't even been 2 years since I've known him, and I just really admire the different people that he's put me in touch with that I've gotten to share stages with, and just been totally blown away by how amazing they are. And I mean, the list goes on and on and on, and then just being able to be on stage with these folks and be completely out of my element, but accepted at the same time. And it's been really, it's really challenged me in the last 2 years as a musician. It's been one of the most challenging things for me to do, to go to play a Dead gig, like a Grateful Dead gig, or to play, just play this different style of music, to play a bluegrass gig. Like my battleship's sunk. I have no idea what to do, but to be able to be up there and learn that and see these people be able that are just so good at it and be part of it, listen to it, be part of that thing, and try to absorb some of it and put it in the brain for later use. It's been killer.
Yeah, you have been playing with a whole lot of people lately.
It's been awesome. It's been awesome. I've just been able to, it's really challenged me as a musician. It's just so challenging, and it throws me, if you're good at doing, if you're good at doing karate, and then you have to get in there and be in there with a wrestler, it's like, what just happened, and that's kind of what it is. It's just like, whoa, this is a whole different discipline. And so I'd really like to thank Nico for that, because that's been the push to put me in those positions. So
rock on.
Haven't even played. I mean, we played a couple gigs here and there together, me and him, but I think it's just more of the connections that he's made with me, with like the connections he's made for me with other people that he knows. It has just been amazing. So.
Very
my
cool.
days off, I can't wait to just go out and do something sometimes. I'd like if I have a day off now, most people are like, I can't wait to have a day off. And I look to see who's playing sometimes to be like, man, if I have Friday night off, I have a rare Friday and Saturday off this week, and I'm looking at who's playing, and I'm like, could I play pedal steel with them? Would that work? I'm like, that would be rad. So I might make some calls tomorrow and be like, hey, you guys think you want a pedal steel player Friday night? I don't need to get paid. I just want it for I just want it for my education.
That's cool.
You know what I mean? That's just like that's what I think's cool. Or even playing with the guys from Fresh Catch, playing reggae music. I don't know nothing about reggae music. I don't know nothing about
You don't play pedal steel though with them.
I did the last gig.
Did you really?
I played pedal steel with them the last gig. I showed up. I was like, hey, you guys need a guitar player tonight? And they're like, yeah, come on. And I showed up with a pedal steel. And they're like, what the hell is that? I was like, I'm playing this bitch tonight, dude. And it was like so fun.
Oh, that's
it was like
crazy.
so cool, So it was just cool,
That is cool.
And the pedal steel has been challenging. The pedal steel has not been challenging. The pedal steel is the most challenging thing that I've ever tried to take up as an instrument.
This is cool. A new genre of music.
Yeah, we were just watching an interview. Skunk Baxter was talking with Rick Beato about how he's playing pedal steel and how you have to think different.
Uh-huh.
And it's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, he said you got to kind of think three-dimensional.
Oh, I got to sit in with Guavatron last night. And
wow.
My gosh, this shit was murder, dude. I mean, I hit a lot of wrong notes, but I hit a couple right ones, and it was cool, man.
They're a good band.
And it was just neat being in between Roddy and Adonis. And another thing, those guys are so much younger than me, but just how that whole jam scene, and they're like an electronica jam scene. It's not even like a regular jam, hippie band jam thing, It's it's a whole different thing, It's just like you feel like you're in Wet Seal and you're just trying to keep up. It's so badass, dude. It's just
wow.
murder. So
Cool. That's cool. I've seen those guys a couple of times, and they put on a cool show.
yeah, all such talented guys, you know. Yeah.
So stay tuned for Tim's new band. It's a country reggae band.
Yeah, right.
Country reggae, EDM, folk.
There you go. So, we didn't even get a chance to talk about your bands at all. I mean,
We got a lot of stuff that we haven't gone over yet.
I know. We haven't talked about the bands. Great conversation about the music in general in the scene. And what you shared. I think again, you guys have great things to share for those who are willing to listen and be open minded. But can you come back next week? We got more to talk about.
Oh yeah, dude, I'd love to. I got all kinds of. I can keep talking for a long time. So.
Help us bring in 2025.
That's right.
Next week as well.
And hopefully, 2025 we get a new air conditioner here too. So
yeah, that's our New Year's resolution is to have an air conditioner in here.
So you could do your part. Go to our Patreon page there. Go ahead and hit us up there. Become a Patreon member. Support the podcast there. As little as I think $3 or $5, whatever.
If you have an air conditioner company, just come on over. Don't even ask.
That works as well too. So here we go. Our wet naps here.
Frozen solid wet naps.
I love
so
it.
cool.
Love it. Yeah. So yes. So my MVP is Tracy this week here. So we come back next week. We'll talk more about music here. Don't forget to watch subscribe, follow this show here on YouTube. Also, our other show there, Drums and Rums, our sister show, and our other sister show, Jams and Cocktails, with our good friend and birthday boy, Brad Brock here. So,
happy birthday, Brad!
Yeah, he's the big 4-0, so he's catching up with us.
Yeah,
Wow,
I get entertainment value sitting across the table from him while he complains about how old he is.
Yeah.
I'm just sitting there going, yeah, I don't want to, fill anybody in on that I'm older than him, but I'm just sitting there going, yeah, wait, it gets better.
There was a funny thing I saw online of musicians over 40, and every time they pick up a guitar case, it's like, or they pick up an amp, it's like, oh, like all the grunts and groans. I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah. Age is defined by sound effects.
Sound effects for sure. So,
well, let's go
I've
ahead.
been making some myself lately.
Let's go ahead and
let's drink some good fucking bourbon to bring in the new year.
Here's to good fucking 2025 here. So there you go. We'll do a reach.
Oh yeah.
So there you go.
You can always reach far enough for some whiskey.
So good fucking New Year here. Cheers,
Yes.
everybody. Cheers to him.
Clank.
Thank you, guys.
Yes.
Cheers.
So here's the 2025.
When success will arrive.
There we go. So thanks for tuning in here. Don't forget to check out and listen on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Pandora, and where you find it all. Part of the B3 Podcast Network. And let's go to this birthday party, man.
Yeah, we're so signing off for 2024. Goodbye. 2024 was a great year. 2025 will be better.
24.
Partay.
No more.
25.
24 is no more. 25. All right. Devin, thanks for all of your great devining over there.
Yeah, Devin.
He's using his horn to extend his vape smoke.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Ah, that's awesome. All right. Well, hey, I could hire you as a fog machine.
Yeah.
All right. So, hey, this is Kevin McLaughlin, and we are here at the Riffs and
Rhythms podcast here. It's Paul Robertson. And yes, it's great having us hanging out here. I know we got empty glasses, but yeah, looking forward to next year, buddy.
more years of whatever it is we're doing here. We're going to do this more.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot more coming for next year. So strap on, and we'll see you next year.
Kevin,
Cheers.
Paul, I thank the hell out of you guys.
Yeah,
Thank
you got it, Tim. Thanks. Cheers.
All right. Goodbye.